Hello everybody and welcome back to another video and welcome back to the Clenema channel where we talk about movies and TV shows just randomly as I'm going through them. So, watching Star Wars, I watched the second season, didn't make a video on it. I'm done the third season now, and now I'm making a video on it. Again, I'll probably touch on the second season, but the third one is fresh in my head and I'm already moving on to the fourth, guys, because this show, it's where it got really good, okay? And again, just to be clear, this is a very spoiler review. This is just where I talk about in these videos how much I enjoyed the show. And hopefully you can just share the passion with me in the comments. That's the whole point of this video. So, again, this is where I've heard in Season 3. This is where the Clone Wars gets really good. The first two seasons, I've watched it because I watched the first season when I was very, very young. When it first came out, I was like, I don't even remember how old I was, but I was a child. I watched it and I was feeling a lot of nostalgia for it. That's why I was really enjoying it. But now that I'm in Season 3, the story is really taking off. And a lot of people have been saying Season 3, Season 4, you just hang around till then and the show gets absolutely fantastic. And I have to agree with them, although I really enjoyed Season 3. I thought it got good there. I didn't have to wait till Season 4. I was really, really enjoying Season 3. The first thing that I do want to point out is the art style change. I love it. I love the art style. I love, like, it's all dark and gloomy, and it's a good representative of, like, what's to come. Like, Anakin's getting darker. You know what I mean? I just, like, love the way they're taking it, and obviously you can tell as each episode progresses, they're getting less and less kid-friendly, like, showing deaths and being a little bit more brutal about it, you know? I love the art style. I think it's fantastic. So, at the beginning of the season, I don't have too much to talk about because it starts with a lot of missions, just like we saw in the past too, where it's like, hey, we're going to this planet to do this. We need to win this fight here and there. So I don't have too much to talk about with the first few episodes. It didn't take until I believe it was episode like 6 or 7 where Ahsoka was trying to find Padme's assassin. That's the first episode that really got me locked in on the show. And I was like, what's going to happen? It's going to be crazy because there was an assassin trying to find Padme, and Ahsoka was having all these visions where it's like something's wrong, but nobody is listening to her. But she has those like weird Force Jedi powers. I don't know what to call it, where she's just thinking and then she sees something happening. And then the whole episode was her trying to find the assassin, or just like everybody thought she was being paranoid, but like she was like, I feel this. I feel something bad's gonna happen to Padme. And Padme was listening to her, but she was like the only one listening to her. And I really, really enjoyed that whole arc there where Ahsoka is like starting to come into her own, become a powerful Jedi, and people after that are starting to realize, okay, Ahsoka's someone we need to listen to. She's not just a Padawan anymore. She's not like the weak. Not that people like looked at her as weak, but people kind of looked at her as like, again, naive is not the right word for it either. It's just not as well received as all the other Jedis. It's not like if Anakin were to go there, or Obi-Wan, and say, hey, someone's coming to assassinate you, everybody would be like, oh no, but nobody really worried about it, you know what I mean? So I really like the direction that they're starting to take Ahsoka, and I'm really excited because, again, I'm in Season 4 now, so I can't talk about that. I'm talking about specifically Season 3 here. I'm really enjoying Ahsoka as a character. Now, moving on. The next episode, the next arc after that was when R2 was captured and his memory was erased, and there's not too much to talk about that. Just like it was a cool arc where it's, okay, they got some information. Not too much to talk about that. I don't love C-3PO as much as most Star Wars fans do, so it's like, okay, I got the droids episode. I believe it's filler, but I'm not good at detecting that. It doesn't really affect the story too much. Plus, we also had the hunt for Zero, and I was very surprised to see Zero and continuing the story. That just, again, they killed him. Not too much to say there, but then we moved on to the Night Sisters. That's another arc in the Clone Wars where I was like, okay, this is really, really cool. We had the whole episodes with the Night Sisters, and then Ventress. I always get her name wrong. I believe it's Ventress, and Ventress wanted revenge on Count Dooku because Count Dooku was training her, and then we found out too that Count Dooku was training Ventress to overtake the Sith Lord and become, like, what do you call it, like ruler of the galaxy, which is really, really cool. And I didn't expect that at all. I did not know that Dooku was going to try and overthrow the Sith. And then Darth Sidious was like, okay, you have to kill Ventress just because I told you to, just because you're devoted to me. And you could tell Dooku really didn't want to, and Ventress didn't understand why. So she was so angry and she wanted revenge. So he went to the Night Sisters, went to her home, and gotta say, those Night Sisters, really creepy, really cool. Love the planet. Reminds me of Rayman 3 and Hoodlum Havoc, if you ever played that game. Also brought me a little bit of nostalgic memories in that sense because I was just thinking about that level in Rayman. But regardless, I think it's really cool. I think their little like dark magic stuff was awesome. And they ended up making this like insanely like super killer beast thing that went, and then it was such a cool fight because they went to train it to kill Count Dooku, and then did like betray both of them and wanted to be its own character. And there was like a whole weird arc there, but like I feel like we're going to touch more on that because the guy did get away. I feel like we're going to see him soon, but again, I'm not too sure. It was just really interesting to see the Jedi there, along with that monster who wanted to work for herself, and Ventress and Count Dooku all like wanting to fight each other, but nobody really knew what was going on except for maybe Ventress, but then she was probably confused to see Anakin and Obi-Wan there, but it was chaotic, it was crazy, the fight scenes were awesome. I really enjoyed that arc, especially the introduction to the Night Sisters. I like them, I hope we see more of them from this point forward. After that, we move on to the next arc, and it's where, I think they were titled it The Overlords, and I can't remember it because my friend Gray got me into it. I can't remember if he called them the Overlords or if the show called them the Overlords. But anyways, it's like where Anakin visits that place where he's shown all of the visions on what he's going to become and all the things that he's going to do. And that is crazy because to see him like, Anakin, you are my brother. And then like to show them fighting Anakin it's really cool to see those characters that are so beyond the Force, and then they tried to pull their lightsaber, and then they would just like, oh no, that's nothing here, and they just put it back. It's like these beings that are so powerful with the Force, and they had the yin and yang, and they had to control them. They had the Father, and then it was really cool to see the whole planet with the Force was just magnified there and more powerful, and Anakin could really tap into powers, and it really showed Anakin as a character. And then Anakin and Ahsoka both got brainwashed, so it was crazy to see him turn on Obi-Wan a little bit. And it's like, okay, we're seeing a little bit of what we saw in the Revenge of the Sith, which is really cool because that was my favorite Star Wars movie. I really liked Revenge of the Sith. I like the prequels. I just love Anakin as a character. I love the build up for him. I think they handled that fantastic, and not going to walk through every single little thing that happened, but this is the best that I've seen in the Clone Wars yet, this entire arc, because I like the monsters. I like the idea for him. I like the idea for the yin and yang. I like the idea of the good Force, the bad Force. They all come together, and there's something that needs to watch over them. Anakin was supposed to do that. He doesn't want to. He wants to stay with Ahsoka and Obi-Wan. He gave into his dark side a little bit. Obi-Wan's trying to get him out of it, and then you get into that little clash, right? It's like, you were my brother, Anakin. And then Obi-Wan did eventually win him over. They got off the planet. Anakin didn't say anything. It's just, it was a really, really cool arc. I enjoyed watching every single little piece of that. After that move, they move into the Citadel arc where they just break in, they try to escape. And it was another one of those missions where it's just like, hey, you know what? This is cool. They're breaking in, and I don't have too much else to say about that stuff when they really dive into it, and they just get into like that Star Wars thing where it's like, hey, found some droids, slice, slice, found another Jedi, slice, slice, or excuse me, the Jedi versus the Siths or whatever they're called. You know what I mean? So there's just some cool fights, awesome stuff. What character dies that we had no attachment to, but it's just a cool thing to watch. But after that, they move on to another thing, the ending episode. First of all, so cool to see Chewbacca again. I loved when Ahsoka got captured and was placed in that, like, not Hunger Games thing, but when those crocodile creatures were trying to hunt them down. That was vicious. It was cruel. I really enjoyed that. And again, they're building Ahsoka's character. She's living on her own now. She has to take care of herself. And it was very, very dangerous. And I got to say, when Chewbacca dropped and saved the day, that was so cool to see him. And it's just like, who is that? His name is Chewbacca. Absolutely loved it. I really, really did. So like Ahsoka trying to escape, it was so scary. And I'm watching this series, and again, please don't spoil it for me if you have seen the rest of the Clone Wars. I'm waiting for Ahsoka to have this horrible, gruesome death, and it's going to be so sad with Anakin. Anakin's going to find out she's dead, and then he's going to go on an amazing rampage. Just like I just think that's going to happen because we didn't see Ahsoka in any other Star Wars. So I know, and I don't think, knowing the writers, I don't think she is going to live happily ever after. I think she's going to have a horrible death, and Anakin's going to go on an absolute rampage. It's going to be another step of him going towards the dark side. Maybe the Chancellor will have something to do with it. That's my guess of what's going to happen. But please, I'm going to read the comments. Please don't spoil it for me because that's just my guess. I want to see if I got it right. Now, so the point is, when Ahsoka was in the Force, I didn't know if she was actually going to make it out. That's where I was waiting for. And that's what was so intrigued about it, because the problem with watching this series is I know that Obi-Wan lives. I know that Anakin lives. I know that Grievous lives. I know that Dooku lives. Every single time that they fight, they just break up, and then we'll see you again next time, you know what I mean? But that's why I love watching characters like Ahsoka and Ventress, because I don't know their future, and I feel like they're all just going to die, and that's like, there's stakes there when I'm watching. So Ahsoka being dropped in that Force and being put in such a dangerous situation, I didn't know if she was going to make it out of it. That's why I loved watching it so much, and I think that was a perfect way to end off the season. Season 3 had me hooked, man. I am in this show till the absolute end. I think it's great. I get the hype behind it, and I'm not even a big Star Wars fan. I'm really not. Like, I enjoyed the movies. The first movies that came out, didn't love them. The prequels, thought they were great. I haven't seen stuff like The Mandalorian. Again, I'm not a big Star Wars fan, and I really love this show. So I can't imagine for the Star Wars fans how great this show is for you guys. So I'm going to continue it. I'm going to upload season 4 because I'm already moving on to season 4. I'm flying through it, man. Like, I'm on vacation from work right now. I'm probably just going to watch it all. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So guys, if you're new here, this is a channel where I talk about movies and TV shows and books, everything that I go through, and I'm just talk about what I loved about it. And today was Clone Wars. As I move on, we're going to talk about the Clone Wars. I don't know what I'm going to watch next. So subscribe if you want to take this journey with me. If you have anything that you want to suggest me to watch, comment down below. I'd love to hear about it. Comment down below what you thought about season 3. What was your favorite episode? What arcs did you like? Did you agree with me on my takes? Again, thank you so much for watching, guys, and let me know what you think down below.